everybody. Welcome back. It's another Thursday. That means another Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists from around the world. First, we ask that you give us a like and a follow on the platform that you're watching us on. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the Carvers and our special guests. Let's meet the Carvers. Let's do it.
Yeah, baby.
Who me?
First, he's an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He was a judge on season 3 of Outrageous Pumpkins on the Food Network. It's Paul Dever. Welcome.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Good to be back.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Next, he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network. Matt Harper, welcome.
Hola, ¿qué tal, Felipe? Whoever.
Our guest tonight is a special effects makeup legend. His work has been featured in movies and television for over 40 years. Please welcome John Caglione Jr. Yes, thank you.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
What a treat.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, we're
It's
definitely privileged to have you here.
Likewise.
My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time.
Handsome boy right there.
Yeah, look at him. Wow, stud.
Hey, Paul, why don't you tell us about it's winding down. The minutes are dwindling away. The Great Pumpkin Carving Contest.
It is the witching hour, as they say, for the GPCC 2022. Lots. We have over 100 entries. I know there was a little bit. I think Instagram was playing games with us when people are hashtagging. It wasn't showing up. But I see that slowly trickling in. But I think there's so many entries. It's just taking a little time for the interwebs to catch up. So keep them coming. You've got till pretty much the 30th. And then, you know, we're gonna make our decision, and we'll have a little announcement on Halloween for everybody. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 categories. We have the pro and the open. If you want to enter the open, make sure you're a beginner carver. If it's really good, I don't give a crap. I'm taking it and I'm putting it in the pro category, because if it's good, it's good. All right. Let's not play games, kids. We know what we're doing here. Okay.
Yes.
So if it's that good, don't think you're going to go to the top by putting it in the open, because I'm calling bullshit and pulling it into the pro category. There are a lot of great carvings this year. Unbelievable. I'm so happy that everybody's joining in pursuit of the illustrious.
Yeah. Look, whoa.
There it is, kids. Sitting there waiting. It's up for the taking. It's going to be a tough decision this year. We got to bring in Brandy. You know, it's going to be a powwow. It's going to be a long one. We're going to have a lot of images to go through, and pros and cons, but there are a lot of great carvings. So great job, everybody.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, definitely get those in. Matt, talk a little about Vulture City.
Oh boy, that was a blast. We got John, just for your edification, last weekend we spent this time with Ray Villafane and Luke Schroeder and Gabriel Venus, a bunch of like amazing sculptors. Paul and I got to hang out and basically help out. We taught classes, we carved live. Here's some behind the scenes stuff. He's a Ray. That's him there. He's a magician at like putting up these vignettes, let alone being able to, he makes these characters that are just mind boggling. But this was a ton of fun. I think all week I just been wishing I was back there again. It was just like this, it's in an old West mining town. And here on the left, you can see Paul down actually in a mine shaft. We went down and took some pictures there.
We're mining pumpkins.
Yeah, we were mining pumpkins, and we struck gold, or we struck more.
We did.
But it was just an absolute blast, and hundreds and hundreds of people came through, and it's like a haunted ghost town, and here's one of his characters there, and you can see, it was an old West theme. Anyway, it was just.
I love the old West theme, guys. That's
there were shootouts. They had actual shootouts. It scared me to death. I was around the corner.
You hear all these blanks going off, and you're like, wait a minute, should I be hearing loud noises in succession like that? Anyway,
somebody actually said, are they using real guns? Are they using real bullets? And I said, yeah, they have a whole stable of other cowboys. They just keep bringing out the dead ones.
Yeah, just stacking them up one back.
Yeah, we're shooting real guns here at Vulture City. Authentic.
Yeah, but it was just a really, really fun time, and wish we were still there.
Yeah, hey, Sarah joined us.
Is that the first time you guys went there? Is that the first
To Vulture
time?
City, yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. It's
it's
a legit ghost town.
1860s, yeah, crazy.
1863, maybe.
Vulture City.
Great name too.
Great.
Yeah.
The name's even great. Yeah, it's all about it. It's like an old gold town, and anyway, I guess they produced a ton of gold back in like the late 1800s, or literally and figuratively, but just a whole lot of gold. And we were just thinking of the. I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere in the desert in Arizona, and I imagine it had to be just brutal conditions. I mean, but needless to say, the ghosts that all died there still haunt the place and help us make good pumpkins, I guess.
Yes, or scared the hell out of me at night.
And there's some of Matt's work right there, right?
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
A couple of mine. Wow.
Yeah, that one with the nose was so cool. That was a humongous add-on.
Yeah, great. I chunked off the bottom of it and just glued it on the front. So that was a fun one.
Wow.
And then Paul, you got some ears, right?
I don't even remember what I carved. I got to be honest.
Well, let's check out our carves from actually not last week, from 2 weeks ago.
The way back machine.
way back. And just to refresh your guys' memory, the prompt was Disgusted Vampire.
Ah, yes.
So there's Matt.
That's been a while, yeah.
And that's great. Wow.
That was great, Matt.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, he had this, like, I was struggling with the disgusted part, and I finally fell down on, like, he's just he's so over it. Like, he's just, like kind of that kind of look. So that's where I ended up. But it was a really fun one to do. That's for sure.
I like how the eyebrows read on such a kind of a monotone surface. It's usually hard to get those because the lights, you get the downlight, and usually that whole brow is washed out till you get underneath into the eye sockets, and it reads so well. You must have had some really good lighting on it.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, what's your? I mean, I have to ask you. I mean, looking at these caricatures, what inspired you? Were there illustrators that you grew up with, or Mad Magazine? Jack Davis, or I mean.
Yeah, so great. So I'll definitely throw in Mad Magazine because that was like my my happy place when I was a kid. Mickey,
same here.
And it was the thing where I would like turn the page very slowly for the first time because I knew I was going to read it 20 more times. But this first time was like beautiful, and there's Spy versus Spy, and I'd like watch every little all the stuff. So yeah, that certainly is a motivator. And then, but just like old timey like cartoons and those kind of things. I think I was just like that Saturday morning kid watching everything with a bowl of sugar cereal in front of him. So I was probably inspired a lot by that stuff early.
Yeah, hopefully the variety pack, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
You remember the one you could cut the box and pour the milk right into the box? That was like, man, that was like space age stuff back then.
Great.
Yeah, great stuff. And here's Paul's.
Oh wow, man, that is cool.
So good.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul, you're the expert at that signature. The eyes, the brows, the nose, the wrinkle. I mean, everything in that thing just has that, like, you could not be more perturbed, and like just has that disgusted look to his face. It's epic. That's a really great one.
Yeah. So, John, if you're wondering what I get inspired by, I walk around with that expression on my face a lot. So I usually just end up taking pictures of myself. But some I'll tell you, sometimes, like, if I think of reference in my head, if it's not me, I usually go to like the Three Stooges.
Right.
They always that vaudevillian kind of using their face more than their words, and but a lot of times I just make a dumb face and I go with it.
Do you? You use your own expression?
Yeah. Like, I have a real heavy brow. Like, my eyes are really set in, so it plays well for pumpkins. I was born for this, John, is what I'm saying.
No, listen, man. I think we all put a little bit of ourselves in our stuff. I think you do.
You have to, right?
Sure.
There's something in it. Yeah. I think.
Evidence too by when we're sitting there carving this last weekend. I'm like, Paul, I need a guy like that. The guy with the big nose. I wanted to get that kind of squinty face with the lower lip down. So I took pictures of Paul's face, and I was literally using those lines to help me. So between my phone probably has half a dozen really unflattering shots of me in it, or more. I'm sure it's probably more.
And the rest of them are unflattering shots of me.
Of Paul.
Making faces for you. Good
so
time.
I work in pixels and vectors. So John, just so you know, like everything I've been doing on the prompts has turned into album art. So Disgusted Vampire had to make into some old album art. And for those of you that if you squint really tight, you can see Vampire Weekend in the map.
I don't know if anybody knows who Vampire Weekend actually is in person. I know the name. Great band.
That is really cool. Wow.
It is. I'm telling you, John, these are like T-shirts I want to buy and wear. It's just so cool.
Are you a T-shirt guy? I'm a T-shirt guy.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Band logos and I'll wear them all. Absolutely, wear them out.
We're gonna talk Mick into making a line of the pixels, and it'll be called Pixels and Vectors.
There you go.
I want to talk to you after the show because I want to try to do another T-shirt for the makeup artist workshop. So I'm in. I'm
a branding specialist. So I'm there you go. So I'm happy to do that.
Wow, man, thank you. That's beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, and a Vampire Weekend fan in there. So there you go. So I'm catering to our very loyal fans. But John, I'd like to introduce you to the fourth member of Carvers and Creators responsible for our carving subject tonight. It is the Hollow Wheel, the Center Spinner, and as always, Paul will tell you more about it right now.
Oh, here we go.
Hello, kids. Happy Thursday. Welcome back. All right, so John, what we're going to do is we're going to spin this wheel 2 times. The first time is going to be the subject. The second time will be the emotion. So for tonight's choices, we have troll, zombie, clown, vampire, Frankenstein, wolf, ghoul, aquatic, insect, and guest choice. Very Halloween themed, so get your guest choice cap on there just in case. For our second spin, we will have crying, clueless, smug, terrified, embarrassed, guest choice, insane, disturbed, creepy, or nervous. I did say clueless. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. All right.
Every one of them is a very anxiety inducing either way.
I think that's what happened. I think I checked out on a panic attack halfway through.
You got this, Paul. You got this.
I ain't backing down from no pumpkin. Here we go. It will be a zombie this evening.
Oh,
very
cool.
Very good choice for as close as we are. This will be the last carve on the show before Halloween. So
there you go. Zombies are great.
All right.
What kind of zombie?
And our zombie is going to be guest choice.
Oh,
my friend, what is our zombie going to be?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, zombies are people too. They have all the emotions, all the feels.
Yeah. Wow. I'm just going through my zombie list here. I don't know.
Take your time. We've got plenty of time.
Guys, any ideas? What do you think?
Well, I'm partial to zombies being, angry, but there's something funny about a sad zombie.
Yeah, or even
if you want to give us anxiety, that's kind of that's the fun part, is to make us, deep reach in the treasure box and see what we can pull out.
I mean, can we do an anxious zombie? Is that
anxious?
Ooh, anxious. Sure. I love that. Okay.
A nervous zombie? Not
nervous, yes. Nervous. We can do that.
He's not too happy about being a zombie, maybe.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, how did I get here? What do I do now? I don't even like brains. Oh.
Anxious zombie. I like it.
Yeah, worried zombie. I don't
worried,
know.
nervous, anxious. I love it.
Yeah, it's all the same.
So which one are we going with? Because I got to put it on the.
The Don Knotts zombie. Remember that Don Knotts
Don
character was always afraid?
Which one are we going with? Andy Griffith, or are we going with Ralph Furley?
Yeah,
from the Three's Company.
Anxious. So you want to do nervous or anxious?
They both. Which ones? I like anxious. It sounds cooler.
Yeah. Anxious is good. Good word.
Anxious is like jumpy. You know, I gotta get out of here.
There you go.
I like that. All right. I
Nervous is what you are in like the dentist office.
Anxious zombie.
Here we go.
Good choice.
There you go. That's great. So I got to put it. I'm going to commit it to the chat, and therefore it will be done. Here we go. Boom. So
it's committed.
While we're doing that, if you're carving or creating with us tonight, we're going to give you 5 minutes to get your tools together, get situated, get your carving oil. And now we're actually going to go around the horn and see what everybody's carving oil is for tonight. John, what are you having to drink tonight?
I've got my my little Keurig. What am I? Chock full of nuts, man. That heavenly coffee.
Ooh. Perfect. Nice. Keeping it old school. I like it.
New York style, baby.
That's right.
Long Island, New York. That's where we are here tonight.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
He's like an hour south of me if I drove 110 miles an hour. And it would still be about 2 hours.
Matt, what do you got?
I chose because I like sushi, so I was like, well, I always like getting a Sapporo while I'm there, so I'm gonna have this. But you know what? Here's the interesting thing. I didn't realize how full of themselves Sapporo people are here. Discover the perfectly balanced taste that is irresistible to all. As you share rich moments with this masterpiece of the brewer's art. I mean, wow, they're good according to the label.
Matt, I have a question about your Sapporo. I only thought they came in the large can, or are you that big that's a large can in your hand?
Yeah, this is 24 ounces here.
It's like shaking a bunch of bananas when you shake his hand. It's a giant.
Sorry, I ate all my vegetables when I was a kid. What do you
Yeah,
you ate all my vegetables. Here I am, average height, and then I get next to you, and I literally feel like a 9-year-old. I'm mad. All right, so what I have, and I want to say thank you to our good friend who swung by to say hello, Monique Hawk. She brought us Harlan Brewing, and I was really impressed with this.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is an amazing beer. So this is like your version of Treehouse out there, right? I'm assuming.
Yes, Harlan is excellent.
It's a hazy IPA, and it's a very simple can, but boy, does the flavor! It is a perfect beer.
Yes.
I'm very impressed by it.
And Matt, if you were having sushi in San Diego, you'd have a Harlan Japanese rice lager. They have an excellent one. It's very much like Sapporo. Yeah.
Well, I'm learning all kinds of things tonight.
Well, from what Matt says, you can't top a Sapporo. Just ask it.
Yeah, just ask for Sapporo.
Exactly. Well, I'm going Halloween appropriate, and I've been waiting for this one for a long time. This is the from San Fernando Brewing Company here in California. This is the pumpkin pie. Ale.
That's like a dad joke on a can.
That line is a dad joke on a can.
So there you go. San Fernando Brewing Company. I was actually very lucky to find this one. And so they had one can and I snatched it up. So cheers to all of our creations tonight. Thank you to our guest for being here. We're super privileged to have him. And why don't I start it off? Let's find out the history of this great artist. And I'm actually going to add this to the stream. There's so much in the early days. I just want to know how you started, where you started. Obviously, it wasn't here, but this is pretty early on.
Yeah, that's at NBC. That's I think 1977 76 or 77, I guess. Wow. Saturday Night Fever had just come out.
Wow.
And yeah, I would do the Bee Gees when they came into NBC. And yeah, I would do their makeup. They were into, I think that was UNICEF they were sponsoring back then. So that was the Gift of Life or something like that they were doing. And it was great.
That's great.
So his beard was in New York during those years. That was like 1976, 77, you know, it was Disco Fever, man. Disco Fever.
Wow.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Like New York City was like, if you see the movie Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it was.
The city I grew up in. That's it.
Not the nice streets you find now or, you know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, back then, you know, 42nd Street was porn theaters and hookers, and it's Taxi Driver, man. That was the city. But yeah, that was back at NBC. I was on staff at NBC from 76 to about 1982, I think.
Wow.
And
crazy.
a lot of the shows. I did the original Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
So good segue, Mick, because I mean, this is the other thing I grew up on. You talked about like my influences as a kid. SNL was as pivotal to me as like anything, especially the early ones. I just was like enamored with every single one of those actors and like all the skits. I would just, you know, we would go to school the next day and act them out and pretend to be these characters. It was really cool. And to know, to be interviewing and talking to the guy who did the Coneheads or the Blues Brothers or those, I mean, just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Amazing. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I tell people that was really like Saturday Night Live and NBC. Those years were like my college, my education in makeup. Really, I didn't go to college, so instead I graduated high school and went right to NBC.
Wow.
Back in those days, they had an apprenticeships program, so it was great. You know, you could actually like you know, learn from the ground up, and that was a good experience, a good way to learn.
So that's just another great thing to know. And when we have other artists on, the first question we do ask is like, did you go to school? How did you get started? So this is a great start to this story, to know that you didn't actually go to school. You just dove in and learned from other artists.
Yeah, it was great back then because you know, I mean, I was doing high school plays, and then I graduated high school, and then I got hired at NBC in New York, and those were the days where the you know, theater district was really still booming, but there were great hairdressers and makeup people. Not that they're not now, but it was all, you know, theater trained makeup and hair people, and that's it was great training back in those days.
So one of the pivotal people in your life, I recall, is Dick Smith. So maybe was he the one who helped get you there? I guess was that the the glue to the okay.
Yeah, it was through Dick Smith. I wrote him a fan letter. You know, I'd been a fan of his for a while, and then I saw The Exorcist, and Dick did all the demonic makeup on Linda Blair and the old age makeup on Max von Sydow. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that Max von Sydow was only 46 years old when he played Father Merrin. His whole face is prosthetics.
Wow.
And so that just, you know, captured my imagination. So I wrote him a fan letter, and I didn't have his address. I thought he lived in Hollywood. I didn't know where Dick Smith lived. But my mother had an old gossip magazine, and in the gossip magazine, there was the address for the Linda Blair fan club because The Exorcist was out.
Wow.
Oh my God.
So I got an envelope, and I drew a caricature of Dick Smith on the envelope, makeup artist, The Exorcist, and block letters, and I mailed that letter, not expecting to hear anything. I mailed it to Warner Brothers Studios in Hollywood. And I tell people it was like being stranded on a deserted island and putting a note in a bottle and throwing it in the ocean, and just hoping that you know, a ship goes by. And it did. Dick Smith actually called me like about a month later, called me on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. That started a whole opening to a friendship.
Wow. And you were young, right? How old were you at that point?
I was about 15. Yeah, about 15 going on 16.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. So that was a miracle. And then,
So nice.
but I remember like when I first met Dick, I was really, my stuff was like starting from ground zero. And I met him and he told me I didn't really have much talent. I'd probably never make it as a makeup artist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was crushed. I was just like, oh, you know. But he was so great and generous. He let me stay in touch with him. And he saw that I was not going to quit and I was actually improving.
Oh.
And then he recommended me to NBC just before I graduated.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in the time, this is mind blowing to me. So that he responds to your letter and then says, you know, thank you, but you don't have a whole lot of talent. So what did you do different between the time when you met him and then kept corresponding with him? Did you just keep peppering him with more and more stuff, or was it just like I'm grabbing a hold of this and not letting go? What was that process?
Well, after crying all the way home on the bus back to my upstate New York where I lived, I realized, you know, this guy doesn't really know what's in my heart, but he left the door open. And he said, you know what? You're probably not going to make it as a makeup artist, but, you know, work in the dental lab because it's a kind of a compatible field. You know, try to become a dental technician. And so I did. I actually landed a job in a dental lab like toward the end of high school. And I worked on the plaster bench and worked my way through the lab. And the guy that owned the dental lab would let me do my stuff in the lab too. Like after hours, I would make pieces and stuff and do makeups. And I sent that stuff to Dick Smith and he would encourage me and correct things. And I just stayed in touch with him until they called Dick Smith because, and at NBC, Dick Smith started the makeup department in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
I think he was the first makeup artist in television. And so he, you know, started the NBC makeup department in the late 40s, right through the 50s into the early 60s. So they called Dick, you know, the makeup department head there, and Dick said, "I got this young guy, Johnny, and you should, you know, interview him." So he set up an interview.
Okay.
And I actually went down and I did a makeup on a friend of mine. I did a whole prosthetic makeup. And the department head wasn't even expecting. Lee Bagan was the makeup department head at NBC. And he gave me a room to do the makeup. And I did the makeup. And the first thing he said is, monsters, monsters, why monsters? I'm like, oh, no. But he saw the potential, I guess, in the makeup. And he hired me that day. I got the job.
Wow. What a
Am I the only person who saw this as this was calculated? He told you that for a reason?
What, to motivate?
Yeah, 100%.
That was his Miyagi moment.
Yeah.
Dick Smith telling you couldn't make it.
I'm going to show you how good I am, and it actually made you better.
It actually did. I think it was a real motivation. Yeah, it really was reverse psychology. And I think it's a way, you know, Dick is such at a certain level that maybe it's a weeding out process.
It is. Yeah.
Right? I mean, it could be.
Yeah, if you can't take a critique, you might as well pack it up anyway. If you can't
100% right.
You have to be
if you can't take this criticism, then you'll never make it anyway. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Wow. How great.
That's
such an awesome story.
So yeah, that was the start.
So any 15-year-olds watching now, just, you know, as soon as you graduate high school.
Yeah, write letters. You know, get in touch with people. Don't be afraid.
Right now, a bunch of 15-year-olds went, "What's a letter?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
so wait, this whole time. Get a pen in my hand. I don't understand that.
And I'll bet when he called you,
you know, we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and he probably called you on a rotary house phone.
He did.
Oh my God!
Another
Those
one.
Were the days, man?
Rotary
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you didn't even want to call somebody if they had a 9 or a 0 in their number because it was going to take too long.
It takes so long. Yeah.
All the way around, wait for it to get back.
Remember when you had to do a 1? That means it's out of the zone. That costs more.
And you didn't even want anybody to know you were doing it because that costs money.
That's right.
Yeah, now you're bringing me back, man.
Oh, the good old days.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the good old days, This is very near and dear to Paul's heart. So Paul, let's talk about your background with this movie.
Well, when this movie first came out, I was 12 or 13 years old. I think I just turned 13. And I was still at that. I really liked art. I loved sculpting and stuff, but it was just, whatever. What was I ever going to do with it anyway? And then when this movie came out, all the makeups was so over the top and so well done that I started collecting the trading cards. Like back in the day when the new movie would come out, like Batman was the same way. You could go buy baseball cards, but a pack of the movie cards. And I would specifically collect the stickers of the characters themselves and just like study the faces on them because I thought they were the coolest thing ever. And now here I am talking to the man that did these makeups. So look, there it is. That's like one of the, I think I have that sticker somewhere. That's insane.
Yeah. Wow.
Flat Top's my favorite.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you can't go wrong with Pacino either. They're all so good.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't believe what you did to that lady to make her look like Madonna, but well done, sir.
It was spot on for that time period, right?
So that was time period.
That was Gina Davis, you guys. Little known secret.
That's right.
No one knows that. But yeah, that's amazing.
I'm pretty good, ain't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you guys, I had a great guy with me, my partner, Doug Drexler. We did that job together, and I couldn't have done it without him. So, I really have to say that because that's the truth. And we had a great makeup crew. I mean, we had some of the best heavy hitters on the set. We had, V. Neal. She's
Yeah.
I had Craig Reardon, who did all the makeup effects in Poltergeist.
Oh wow!
He did the thing that's on the wing of the plane in the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah, and he was like with Rick Baker. He goes back to the early Rick Baker stuff. So I really wanted him. When we went to Hollywood to start Dick Tracy, I had my wish list of people, and like Craig Reardon was right at the top. For me personally, and we got lucky. We got some really great people.
Yeah, and you got the Academy Awards.
Yeah, it was good. And I got to meet Al Pacino, and it's been I've known Al since Dick Tracy.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's a New York.
Thank you, Warren Beatty. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Littleface. Yeah.
So good.
So
good.
Yeah.
See, if you want, just to rehash the question, what inspires me? That stuff inspired me.
Oh, that's so.
It's definitely one of the things. Like, I have a chest up in the attic. I've always saved. Like, I'm almost like a pack rat for little specific visual things. Whether it's the head off of an old action figure that was like cartooned out that I really like, these little things that I can't let go of since I was a teenager. And I'm telling you, I have all these sticker trading cards in a box somewhere in my attic.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
So inspirational.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it looks like a pumpkin, essentially. If you carve the small.
Yeah. Yes.
So you led me to the path of pumpkin carvings, basically.
Well, it's an honor that I inspired you in any way. That's
absolutely.
Cool. That's pretty cool of me. It really is.
I'm telling you, it was one of the main things that made me say like makeup effects would be cool. And it was always, there was never an outlet for it from my standpoint. Like the only way they said you could go to school for like to do makeup effects was you had to have this huge portfolio. And by the time I got out of high school, it was like, they didn't even teach us sculpting in high school. It was like charcoal drawing and the bell rings. So it was like, I kind of was in limbo. It was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. That takes, you got to go to a special school. And so, from afar, I'd always admire stuff growing up, but.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're 13, it's 89, 90, somewhere in there.
Yep.
We really didn't have the internet yet, did we? We didn't.
No, there was none of that.
So there was no YouTubes or any of that stuff. It was.
I would get Fangoria magazine. I'd have to go to the comic book store or the smoke shop where they had to, to get something and send away for it.
Yeah. The same
there was
here,
no Amazon.
Yes. I mean, when I'm going back to the 70s, there was even like, it was a little more tricky. I mean, the only thing that was out was Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine, I think. And
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually found a copy that's really weird. I found a copy for my first copy of Famous Monsters. My older brother had a copy because I went through all his shit when he wasn't around, like little brother too. And I found it. I was like, wow, this is cool, this magazine.
What's funny, and I'm glad you brought this up because I was just talking about this because I actually I teach a course at a university where I'm basically telling college students, it's basically giving them they're just about to graduate, so they're going to learn about business, and I'm telling them all the kind of like the dirty stuff that no one talks about being in a business of being in art, right? So it's like, if you're going to work for someone, you're going to get paid so much, or you have a day rate, or, all these different things that you need to know about, how to pay taxes, all these other things. But one of the things I told them about was like, I went back to my inspirations, and we don't give enough credit to magazines. We've talked about magazines like in the past 40 minutes. We've talked about it multiple times. Mad Magazine, Fangoria, Hit Parader, all these magazines that gave us all these different windows to the world. And it really inspired the pop culture of it all. And that was the only thing that was super available at the time.
Yep.
Well said. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I said I have so many magazines, I have so many books that inspire me, and when I get back into them, I'm more inspired again by them. I have to revisit them. So maybe this is a reminder to all of us to look back at those and go back to what really inspired us, because look what came out of this.
Yeah,
seriously.
Yeah, it's just great reference. It's just, oh man, those early days with Mad Magazine. I remember I lived on tracing paper at first. I remember getting tracing paper.
Yes.
And
yes.
With a good light and just trying to trace and then do freehand sketch and just get
that's what I did for lettering. I did that with lettering and other and grid work as well.
Yeah,
So
that was a fun time, man. Just the sense of discovery of it all was so exciting.
And no, so from a
oh, there's Flat Top going on.
Yeah,
there it is. Yeah, I love this guy. So when it comes
How
to
about that polka dot shirt there, huh? Look at that.
that's very 80s,
very
Real,
very
late
guy.
80s hairdo, yeah.
That is a very 80s hairdo. That's perfect. But like from a material standpoint, I mean, now with modern, I guess, with latex and some of this, was there a big departure from what you were using back then to what is available now in the world of prosthetics and makeup, or is it kind of the same thing, just now kind of more refined?
It is. It's the same technology, basically. It's still the concept of sculpture and mold making, but the sculpture is different, because now we're sculpting for silicone appliances. Those were the days, the heyday of foam latex.
Right.
Dick Tracy was all foam latex, and we didn't have silicone then. So, it's the same concept of molding and sculpture, but the molding is different. Now we use AdTech molds, which are high, temp epoxy molds. And we use silicone, encapsulated silicone, that are intrinsically colored to match the skin tone of the actor.
Wow. Okay.
And now we use a lot of airbrushing on silicone appliances. But I got to tell you, I mean, everyone's, there's a lot of silicone. I've used it. It's great. But, it's got its ups and downs too, and so does foam latex. So
do you have a preference if you had to pick one and only one from now on? Would you go back to
Oh my
foam?
God. Well, you really have to flip to, I use, I do a lot of Bondo transfer appliances because they're fast. So I use that. For the high def cameras, silicone probably is a better thing. But the thicker you get with silicone, the more problems you have with silicone appliances. With sweat, and breaking up and having to maintain silicone. That gets a little tricky.
Wow.
Interesting.
I love foam still. I still love foam latex, man. It's still,
Does all foam have to be baked?
Yeah.
It does.
I have my big 6-foot oven over here, so I still have where I used to do monster suits. I still have it here in the shop.
Oh man!
But nowadays it's more Bondo transfer appliances and silicone pieces.
So cool, so freaking cool.
Did you? Is there an element like 3D printing? Because I know we talk to a lot of sculptors now who do work in Hollywood and stuff, and a lot of the kind of almost like a checkbox prerequisite is you also have to be good at ZBrush and 3D sculpting, along with traditional. So in your world, do you see that in prosthetics, 3D sculpting?
There's a lot of it going on. Absolutely, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too great with ZBrush. I do a lot of Procreate stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of stuff I design has to be kind of quick. You know,
sure.
I usually get the jobs that are like last minute. You know, let's go.
Oh yeah.
I thought they were all last minute. I feel
they
like
really are. Yeah, there's never enough time.
That's something that's never changed.
No.
You know, talking about time, you're showing Dick Tracy stuff, Pruneface and Al Pacino's Big Boy. We went to the premiere in Orlando of Dick Tracy, the world premiere, and Richard Silbert, the great production designer, he did Reds, he works a lot with Warren Beatty, and he was a production designer. I did the Cotton Club with Richard Silbert.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And I remember seeing him in the lobby, and we hugged, and I was just like, oh man, I wish I had more time on Dick Tracy. And he said something really cool. He said, Caglione, if you had any more time, you would have screwed it up.
Oh,
yes.
I love that.
Right?
It's a good point.
You can go past it sometimes as an artist. You can, sometimes it's good working on nerve juice or impulse.
Yeah. Paul and I always talk about that. Like, art is never finished; it's abandoned. So what you're saying is like you had the wherewithal to say, this is good, this is enough. I'm gonna walk away. We're doing it with a pumpkin. So the clock's already ticking. It's gonna rot, right? So
the clock is ticking. You just said the golden words right there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard a great quote one time. If the Eagles had Pro Tools, they would have screwed up Hotel California.
Yeah.
It would have been auto-tuned. Yeah.
I wish I can attribute it to whomever said that, but I always remember that.
Wow, that's cool. I'm gonna steal that, man. That's yeah, that's so true, man.
They wouldn't have needed all that harmony. They could just been like, one guy just singing a normal voice, and we'll just auto-tune the shit later.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yep. So
that's so true. Most of the great rock songs would have been ruined with Pro Tools.
Oh my god, yeah.
So let's show some of the blocking because John wanted to see like how these are all coming together.
I'm just rough blocking right now. I don't know. He's going to be anxious at some point. I just don't know when. But
I can see some sadness in it, like worry.
I want to keep the brow up so that I can't open the eyes. Maybe I'm going to have the jaw kind of hanging down. Like, oh shit, I got a copay? Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I don't have any cash on me. So I'm gonna think about
I feel like I'm pulling
really.
You and I are starting the same place. I'm doing the same thing you are, Paul. Like I'm starting with the eyes and the schnoz right now, like doing the same kind of blocking. But
yeah,
that's cool, man. Let me ask you: you have overhead light there? Do you have like a swing light above that? How do you work?
Yeah, I have a couple. I have a shop light that can adjust. A halo light over here that throws some, and then there's a shadow light over here. Just depends on.
Yeah, that's so
if it gets too bright.
Sculpture.
Oh my god!
It depends on the shape of what Sometimes if it's so tall, the light's way too close. It's those architecture. The architecture of boom arms are the best, so you can just kind of put it wherever you want, get it out of your way for a minute, and so
Yeah.
And then still you go, the lighting sucks. Can't figure out the lighting.
It's never good enough. Yeah, never.
No. It's always.
Do you ever have to walk away? Do you ever have to like stop and get away from it for a minute and come back with fresh eyes?
Such a great question. Because what we found in doing the show, when we started out, we would have something kind of 3/4 of the way done, and we'd finish it on the show. And then we decided to incorporate the wheel and then kind of up our anxiety. But what we found in doing that is these take 3 to 5 hours of time to create, like finish, right? I mean, the blocking is the fastest part, and then by having the show wrap, we kind of finish up, high five. Okay, Paul and I will take whatever we're making, if it's a pumpkin or a squash or something, and bag it up, put it in the fridge, and then when you put a fresh set of eyes on it, you're like, good Lord, there it is. Like it's so much better to have a fresh set of eyes on it, and we've clearly discovered that, I think, in the last couple of years, where it's like, if we don't do it now, I honestly now incorporate that into anything I sculpt, where I get up, walk away, take a break, come back, and then and jump back into it, and it's always different. Always different.
Just standing 15 feet back, if you go and get a cup of coffee or something, come back and just stare at it from a distance or at a different angle and go, all right, that doesn't work, or that is working. Maybe I can play off of that, or just go get a new pumpkin because you feel like you've screwed it up so much that there's no bringing it back.
And it's just a pumpkin, so
same thing. I'm sure when you're working on a sculpture or an appliance, right? You take a step back and you go, "Why the hell does that? What is that? Why is the light catching it that way? What am I? Do I got to knock this down? Do I got to build this up?"
Yeah, like you just said, Paul. You get another pumpkin, right, man? You're like, I'll tear a sculpture apart. I'll just tear all the clay off.
Yeah,
just start over completely.
It's got to feel right.
Yeah,
literally, it has to feel right. You can't just go, good enough.
Yeah,
I mean, we still say good enough, but I don't know what great is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever know what great is, because every time I carve one, I'm like, it could have been better. Like, I've got a lot to learn. I've got more to learn. Like this could have been. I could have done this. I could have done that. And that's kind of the process we talk about with a lot of artists too, which is, don't ever think you're great at it, because once you do, just don't do it anymore, because you've over expected yourself, really. You think you're better than you are. I feel like you should always be chasing it, kind of like, oh shit, I can't. How am I going to do this? How is this going to happen? Like, I don't have it anymore. Every time I sit down, I'm like, I woke up and I lost it. I must have left it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Like you said, it's the kiss of death for any artist, man. It's like, and I've told the story before. I love blues music, and I like blues guitar. I'm into that. It's a hobby. And this great guitar player was telling his protege, his name was Albert King, and he was talking to young Stevie Ray Vaughan. And he said something what you're saying. He said, the better you get, the harder you work, which means you don't think you just got it made. You're going to get better.
Yeah.
You're always trying to, don't think, hey, now I can sit back and the better you get, the harder you work. You should just keep at it.
I like that.
Yeah. Because now your brand is attached to it. Now you're, and the more you work, the less I'll ever want to put anything but my best into work, because my name's attached to it. My other work I've done is attached to it. And if I do a half-ass sculpt or something like that, it's like completely reflective. I'm like, wow, he's going south. It's like each one has to be better, but that's like comes with harder work and
and you want to surprise yourself.
Exactly. That's
what I mean. You want to break through for yourself. You want to be a little selfish, and the only way to attain a breakthrough, in your creativity is to, to try to get better and to fail.
Yeah.
Failure is huge. Yeah, you have to.
So Johnny, when it comes to like you, I started looking at the laundry list of people you've worked with, and just throw opportunity out there as a friend of yours. But what do you get a certain different level of anxiety when it's a famous celebrity versus a random person at this point in your career, or is it kind of like, I got this?
No.
From a
No, I don't ever feel. Well, I'm confident.
Yeah.
Now at a certain point in my life, I've covered a lot of territory, so there's a certain amount of confidence that is in me to go for it. But there's always those butterflies, man. It's always like, I think it's for any performer. You can't tell me you're going to step on the stage and do a complete play. You're walking the tightrope. I mean, Pacino talks about the tightrope. That's why he does theater, because you're that's it. It's live. It goes.
Yep.
And so there's the butterflies. There's always that.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter to me, really. I mean, the bigger actors, sure.
Yeah.
You want to bring your game, because they're bringing theirs, and you better be, you better be on top of yours, man. So they bring out the best in you.
So it's anxiety inducing, but at the same time, it just inspires you to get that much better and continue to.
Yeah, it's like the edge. It's like jumping out of a plane without checking the parachute. It's like, it's going to open. You believe it's going to open. You're going to land gracefully, and you're going to survive it. So I think it's that same kind of thrill ride that I never get tired of.
And I don't know if this has been said or not. I hope it hasn't, so I can be the first one to say it. But the answers are in the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I agree with that.
Yeah, because if it was easy, you just flip a switch. It's like anybody could do that, right?
Yeah.
But you have to go through the anxiety of actually solving the problem, and that's the thrill. That's the thrill, but it's also it's tough. Like a lot of people couldn't do that.
My favorite part is it's a test, though. The answers to the test, you never figure out what those answers are. You just look and go, "Oh, thank Christ, I made it."
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. I don't know what I did. I don't remember a minute of it. But okay, all right. I didn't flail.
The growth happens from that. Growth in many different ways, not just artistically but personally.
Yeah. The check cleared. Thank goodness.
The mental check cleared. Yeah.
Sure.
So true.
So, a few of you have probably heard about this one. So if you haven't, look it up. But I'm sure you're pretty familiar with it. Thank
God my hair wasn't thinning that much back then when I was making up Heath. Because all you see is the top of my head there.
Good angle. That's you got a hair helmet still. That's good.
Wow.
I mean, so many iconic movies, just projects that you've worked on. This is absolutely outstanding. The paint from your brush is going on the face of Heath Ledger there. It's amazing. So how did this come about?
I wish I knew, man. I still don't know 100%. I did Insomnia with Christopher Nolan, and I was Al Pacino's personal on that film. So Christopher knew me there, and his wife, the producer Emma Thomas. So I'm going to just guess that they knew me from that, and maybe some other people threw in a good word about me along the way. I really don't know. All I know, I was in an airport in Albuquerque. I was finishing up 3:10 to Yuma with Russell Crowe.
Oh, I love that
My
movie.
phone rang, and actually my wife and my two daughters were ready. They were visiting me in Santa Fe because we were filming there, and they were ready to get on a plane and go back to New York, and I was ready to go to LA to finish 3:10 because it snowed so bad in Santa Fe, nothing matched.
Oh,
so we had to wrap in Santa Fe and then get to LA to finish the rest of the filming. And my phone rang, and it was Emma Thomas, the producer of The Dark Knight. And she said, "Johnny, we're doing this film, and Christopher would like you to meet Heath. And where are you?" I said, "Actually, I'm actually going to be traveling to LA." And they were like, "Great, we'll set up a meeting." And that's really how it started. I went to Los Angeles, and I met Heath, and I met Chris Nolan and everyone, Lindy Hemming, the costume designer, on a sound stage at Warner Brothers in Hollywood.
Did they give you some kind of artistic license? I mean, because this is an iconic look. I mean, what direction were you given, or was it like we want you make the Joker?
Well, it was like you make the Joker, but it was Chris and Heath. They really they have a great way of helping you relax and guiding you toward what's going to work for them. Okay. They make you feel like a real ally. So it was a creative process between the three of us, really.
Wow.
When you boil it down. Yeah, the first things I did is I flew from New York to London and met Heath over there, and we started just fooling around with makeup. And I've got great photos I just pulled out of Heath just putting his own stuff on for the first time. Oh, wow. And just as an actor, during the test, because the Joker would put on his own makeup. Yeah. And we just started doing right from there. And then Christopher Nolan brought in these books on Francis Bacon, these great paintings of Francis Bacon. And so it was a hodgepodge of ideas and playing around until we finally, hit on something that looked very cracked and lived in, and that's it.
It was the first time I remember seeing like the joke. It was the first time I remember seeing him with a makeup that wasn't perfect, like proper, and this was like the kind of getting into his crazy mind for the first time in the form of makeup to me, and it was just so brilliantly put up there. Anyway, I'm just such a huge fan of the whole process. So.
Well, the whole thing. I mean, just Heath's performance, right? I mean, it's just like, and the movie is so great. I mean, honestly, I think the film is incredible. So everything, this fit right into the entire picture. And these guys, Heath and Chris, and they really knew that every piece of that puzzle. So I was very honored to, be a part of that in some way, in some small way. But this all leads to one thing I want to say, guys, and it might sound too humble, but if I'm at all well known as to what I do, I've been very blessed to get to work with great actors and producers and directors and creators.
Sure.
And if I'm any well known, it's just because of working with Heath and his beautiful performance. Honestly, I mean, when you boil it down, guys, right? I mean, it really is, to be honest.
No, I agree. I think it's a partnership, right? It's a relationship that takes two to tango. So the makeup puts him in the mind frame to give that kind of performance because he's so confident in the appearance that you've created for him that he can be the Joker. Or in the same thing as Dick Tracy, those actors were so immersed in their roles, it was like they were in the comic book based on how they felt that they looked. Yeah. So I think it's like a 50-50. It's like a great coach and a quarterback, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's a good analogy for it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Sorry if you're a Jets fan.
Yeah, no, man. They're what a great team, right? What a great partnership there. Yeah.
You were the Bill Belichick to his Tom Brady. It doesn't one doesn't happen without the other. And you're very, very humble because this look of the Joker is probably it's become the most iconic one. Like people get this tattooed on them like crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I just want to say to wrap that idea up, it's the company that I've kept over the years, really,
Sure. I can.
It's the great company. So I really tip my hat. It's a hat tip to all these incredible actors that really helped my career out. They really did.
Of course.
And you want to bring your game, like I said earlier. You want to be confident and bring your game. And so, hopefully I brought my game to that makeup every day, and we did it. And but like I said, it's the company you keep, man. And I've been very blessed with that company.
Cheers to that.
Dick Smith and everyone right from the get-go.
Yeah, from the very beginning. Yeah, you've been blessed. Going back to Al Pacino, one of my more recent favorite movies is The Irishman, and I know you worked on that as well. And one of the beautiful parts of that was the taking of making them young, middle-aged and old into very old. Was that a huge challenge, or was it? Or did you take part in all of that kind of transgression into oldness? I guess is right.
Yeah, no, man, not at all. I mean, it was in the early stages of it was, maybe we'll put lifts on Al and we'll do some prosthetics to make him younger, and we had ILM, we had Pablo Hellman, the great Pablo Hellman from ILM. Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah.
So my job was a piece of cake, really wound up being on The Irishman. I would warm Al up and make him look warmer and more young and darken in his eyebrows and do what I could out of the kit. And the rest was all digital, which
Oh wow! Okay. That's fantastic. Okay, I didn't even know that. I just assumed it was all like prosthetics and stuff because it looks so.
No, not at all. I think they did a little more with De Niro, his team.
Oh. Okay.
They did a little more because he's got more screen time and more, periods to go through.
Right.
So I think there was some makeup there, some things that they did, but most of that was digital.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, I was going to say, how do you feel about? I mean, sounds like you're on board with it, but we've talked to other artists too. Like, I wish they would go more practical effects, just because the work shows off so good, and to lay on computers. Do you feel it needs to be a nice balance for it to work correctly?
Yeah, I think there could be a good harmony between the techniques, right? I mean, yeah, why not? It's
you can't trick the human eye, especially with a computer. If something's off in the slightest, you say that's CGI.
Right.
I mean, if you can trick the human eye, and I think that comes with a lot of great practical effects to kind of blend the two, just sort of, bring out the glory in each other to work in harmony, like you said.
Right. I think you can. I think there's, I think you should keep an open mind, when you're doing makeup effects, that there's other tools in the kit that you could probably use.
Good point. Yeah. You can't be a one trick pony. You got to be amenable to the other technology. Yeah.
And the one thing about the Irishman, I just remember, I had done Paterno with Al. I did the Joe Paterno. I think it was.
That was a great makeup too.
I think it was HBO. Yeah. And Al, I made a silicone nose. Part of the makeup was a silicone nose that Al had to wear every day, and he wore it so often that his skin started to break out. We had to get a dermatologist to come in, and we almost had to stop working for a little while. And the producers were like, "Oh my God," because he's in everything. And so after that experience, which was right on the heels of The Irishman, we elected no prosthetics. And so we did. That was another probably behind the scenes reason to not go with prosthetics on Al. I don't think he really wanted it for The Irishman.
Wow.
And this wasn't the first time that you've actually aged someone.
For the boys.
And
that was a test makeup that I did.
Yeah, I mean,
for Jimmy Kahn. Yeah, that was for the boys. That's like 1991 or
91, right?
Yeah, was it? Wow. Yeah. So we did that on Jimmy, and he was great. It's sad that he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
But doing makeup on Jimmy Kahn was like doing makeup on Sonny Corleone in The Godfather.
Yeah.
Like when Jimmy talked to me, he'd have to be hitting me in the chest. Caglione, when you do it, he has to, make contact.
Wow.
But,
wow.
There's the sculpture that I did. Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
So that starts with a life cast, and then
that's a head cast. Yeah.
Okay.
See, and Paul, that's the one. Like you talk about, you wish you could do it over. You want to throw the pumpkin out and start over.
Yeah.
Now, in the life I am right now, I wish I had another go at that. It'd be a little different. Wow. So
that's crazy.
But
I look at that and I see perfection. I mean, I know it's Jimmy Kahn. I mean, it's like beautiful. But I totally get that. You look at it a little differently now.
It's funny is these are the pictures. I might even have this in my camera roll, because it's monotone and the light. I mean, not monotone, but there's no paint to it, so it's just the
clay.
light. It's clay creating shadow, right? So these are the things I look for if I'm taking for reference for wrinkles and the pull, the mouth, the way the bottom lip folds over and just kind of folds back into the creases, and it's these little things that I look for. And if I find something where like, Jesus, that would look so cool on a pumpkin, I just snapshot it. So thanks again for the inspiration, Johnny.
Oh, right. Wow.
I know these are the things I look for.
That's great. I'm glad it came to good use.
Here.
Jesus, this is like the Inspiration 101 episode.
Man.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I think as an artist, also, you're seeing things that other people probably couldn't see in this. Like you're looking at something totally different than what even I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Right. So he's
seeing the flaws. He's seeing the things he wants to change. Where we just see like magic.
Right. We just see what it is.
I mean, I was how old? I was like 32, 33 when I sculpted that. I'm 64 now. So
it's great,
like,
man.
It's like different now.
Yeah.
Your sensitivity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything changes.
it was great working with those guys. I mean, Bette Midler, you know, and Jimmy Caan, and oh man, that was unbelievable. Yeah.
What a charmed life to be able to get to work with some of these guys. And one of the big ones that I'm a huge fan of that you've done is Sopranos. I don't know to what level you worked with them, but I know you worked with them.
Only once in a while, you know, something. Yeah, I was in and out. That was not like a main show.
Okay.
But I did a few things for them. Yeah.
And you worked on Departed too, right? That's one of my all-time favorites. Oh.
Yeah, I was a department head on The Departed. Yeah.
Up here in Boston.
Which was great.
Such a great movie in every way, shape, and form. Tell us about that process, because I mean, at the time that was made, I remember it was kind of like a who's who in Hollywood was all on that thing. If you remember, there was Leonardo and Jack Nicholson, and the whole gang, right? And what was that like? You know, did it feel different working on that versus other movies, or was it just kind of like another job?
No, well, for me, I was geeked out, man. I mean, there's Scorsese.
Okay, right.
You know, I mean,
yeah, I know I would be.
You know, I think of Scorsese. I think of like Taxi Driver. Goodfellas, and So I was geeked out, man. You know, but we had a great first AD. His name is Joe Reedy. And I knew Joe. I did a few films before that. So Joe was kind of the steady rudder for me in meeting Martin Scorsese and having meetings with Martin Scorsese. And so he was a great ally on that job. But it was a great situation. I mean, Scorsese won his Oscar finally.
Yeah.
He won Best Director for that film.
Amazing.
I think he should have won long before that, but that's,
well,
I'm just a makeup guy,
Yeah.
But I just loved being on it. Shit, I was like, I died and went to heaven. I'm an Italian American guy,
Yeah.
And here I am with a Martin Scorsese film,
Yeah.
And
That's kind of the bucket list project for sure. Wow.
All right, now tell the truth.
Job. Scorsese was great with me. He very prepared. Like we had before we had started shooting, Joe Reedy set up a special effects makeup meeting where we knew everything that was going to happen, what to expect. And so that was very well plotted out with Scorsese and the team, and very well prepared. Top notch. Not looking around like where are we going to put the camera? Very accurate.
Already, figured out. Yeah.
Yeah, and as a makeup artist, I got to do Vera Farmiga's beauty makeup, and then I got to do dead guys and gunshot wounds. So it was a great all-around experience.
So I got to ask, which extra cop are you in the background scene? You had to get in somewhere. I thought you would have pushed hard for that one.
I'm still trying, man.
Come on, you just wander in. You just kind of wander in into the shot and kind of work it in.
You're a confused citizen.
Citizen, number 7. That'd be me.
Yeah, here's another classic one.
I love that movie.
Oh yeah, forget about it. Yeah,
Forget about it.
Oh, that was a great job to work on, man. That was like, of all the films, that's like in my top 5 of the most fun.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. The director, Mike Newell, was so great. And, Al was incredible, Johnny and department headed that job. And just a fun picture, man,
Yeah. Was that filmed in New York? I think.
All in New York. We went to Florida. We did a little Florida stuff, I think like a week or so.
Okay.
Well, that's when they took
boys
them out.
Go to Florida, but it was all Brooklyn, all over Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And oh man, I loved working on that movie. Just great.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Really, that was a good time because I think I did Heat before that, and
another amazing movie. Good Lord.
Then Donnie Brasco. It was a really good period for me, and. Johnny Depp was so great. So what a great actor, and what a nice person too.
Awesome.
I love being around him. He would carry a little fart machine in his pocket.
The pooter? Is it the pooter tutor?
Yeah, I think it's like a little accordion type little thing.
Yeah, it's called a pooter tutor. All the great ones have them.
Yeah, including Paul Dever, I think.
I also carry one with me at all times, and so does Luke Schroeder, another carver. And the most inappropriate of times when we were supposed to be paying attention, and it was quiet like church, and he just kept going.
Right. Yeah, that's
the tears started. Oh yeah, get it on Amazon. Go order it on Amazon right now, kids. It's called a Pooter Tutor.
It's the reason why Amazon was invented.
Maybe they can sponsor us next show. Maybe brought to you by the Pooter Tutor.
That thing is so funny.
Yeah.
That when I have it on me and I'm about to do it, I ruin it every time because I start pissing myself laughing, thinking about how funny it's gonna be. Like I give them a dead giveaway for myself. It's terrible. Terrible, I'll tell you, terrible. Wow, look at that shot, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
A lot of
Putting
fun,
on his fake sideburns?
Yeah, the fake sideburns there. Yeah, threw the stash on, and yeah, that was the opening scene. I think. Yeah, he's at the bar in Little Italy. Yeah, that was a blast. Oh man.
So you're talking about your top five. What sits at number one for you? Do you have one or two that are?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be Dick Tracy. I mean, it was really so creative, and it was a big break in my career. We won the Academy Award, and got to go to Los Angeles and work in the 706 Union, which I thought, that was a miracle. Everything about that job was, a miracle.
Wow.
So can I ask you a question? Where is your Oscar now? Is it hanging out?
It's in my living room. It's in my living room.
Hanging out, huh?
Yeah.
Just another award for Johnny Gags.
I don't know, not too many, but that one I never thought would happen.
That's amazing.
But,
but and I saw a great photo of you accepting it when you said when the Academy Awards meant something. When it was when it was a super amazing night.
Oh man, I remember Paul standing on stage and seeing, Michael Jackson's right there in the front row with Madonna, and then looking out, there's Jimmy Stewart.
Oh my God!
And Bob
Jimmy
Stewart. Yeah,
Jimmy. Wow.
Well, it was still they did it at the Shrine Auditorium. It was back in those days.
Yeah.
And man, that was unbelievable that night.
So do you remember the after party? That's the big question, right?
I don't, because we couldn't go. My wife is still like, we should have gone to the after party. Why didn't we go? I had a call to do Bette Midler's old age makeup the next morning at 3:30 in the morning. We had to be on set. Oh my
God. Okay.
So yeah, I should have just crawled into that next day. I should have just
You would have been still drunk, but hanging out with
Bette Midler. And I still hear from my wife Helen to this day. I can't believe we didn't go to the party.
Yeah, for real.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? Jesus.
Christian actually has a question. John, do you and Doug Drexler ever work together these days?
We want to.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still very much in touch. Thank you for your question. Yeah. Doug went off. I mean, he gave up the makeup racket. He stayed in Hollywood, and he's like Mr. Star Trek guy. That was his dream. It was always about Star Trek.
Oh.
And he went on to art directing and doing digital effects for Star Trek and all those TV shows, and I just saw him we just did a Zoom last weekend.
Oh, nice.
But he's like, John, I want to come back and do some makeup with you. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? You're the digital effects guy. He's like, no, I miss it, man. I want to come back and do stuff. So
we're getting the band back together.
Yeah. Yeah. Murph and the Magic Tones, man.
There you go.
Yeah, now we're cooking.
Yeah, man.
You don't want to play at the Holiday Inn. You want to play the big room.
Yeah. Palace Hotel Ballroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
One night only, the fabulous Blues Brothers show band and review.
Yes.
There's two guys
you
out
on a
here.
motorcycle. You two girls. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, so Matt Harper and I, we have a Blues Brother actually connection here. We went to grade school with the kid who said one night only, the fabulous, and then they go Blues Brothers. showed for the orphans. That was a classmate of ours in Arizona who moved from Chicago, and we knew him. His name was Babatunde Myers was his name. Baba Myers.
Baba Myers.
Wow. There's a little movie trivia for you.
We actually knew that kid.
Hey, we didn't do makeup for John Belushi, but damn it, we knew one of the kids in the orphanage.
No,
that's right. We knew one of the orphans from
That is cool. I thought I knew everything about that movie until now.
Small world.
Now you know how the orphans moved to Phoenix. So were you on that set as well?
On the movie set? No.
You did.
I put on their soul patches when they were on SNL. Yeah.
SNL stuff. Okay.
Yeah, just a few times they were on SNL.
But you got to be around the Saturday Night Live band at some extent. Right?
Yeah.
Being a blues band.
Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Lenny Pickett. Pickett. Who else? Damn it, what's his name? The sax player. Lou Marini.
Oh,
yeah.
The guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
That's right. Lou Marini. That's right. Yeah.
Nicely done. What a poll.
Did you say Duck Dunn? Was Duck Dunn in that band?
Yeah, Donald Duck
he
Dunn.
was in the Blues Brothers band.
He was in the Blues Brothers band. Steve Cropper and Duck Dunn were in the Blues Brothers band.
Harper.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And Alan Rubin was the horn section.
Right.
Rubin played for the SNL band. Yeah.
Back at Tom Murphy.
That's right. Yes.
He was
August guy.
But man, what great music! I love music. I love the old blues music especially, and to work on that show and hear those bands.
Yeah, we told you this would be nerdy. This would break down and be super nerdy.
Ain't nothing
I'm
nerdy
nerding out, man. With you, I'm a super nerd myself.
Yeah. It's like Blues Brothers is why I know like John Lee Hooker, all those. Yeah, Cap Calloway. Yeah, it's the reason why I know about them. So it's like they have a special place in my heart for sure.
I'm such a nerd. I remember the scene at the end when they're going through the mall.
Yes,
that's when they drove to a child world. Do you remember that?
Baby clothes.
Yeah.
On the checkout counter was the animal Muppet toy you could buy in the 70s.
Yes.
And I am still to this day completely obsessed with. Sad as it is.
That's like a freeze frame. That's like half a second of them driving through that thing. Too.
Yes.
Yeah, but there was no pause back then, but it was like, there it again. There it is again. There it again.
Actually, on the laser disc, you could pause it and it would be crystal clear. We actually knew somebody with the laser disc of Blues Brothers because they would do they go disco pants and haircuts. This mall has everything.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he would stop it literally like almost like you do like a DVD player back, but that was like unheard of back then. And it's like, and he would wait for it would just be the toy store, and then you didn't know what was gonna happen. They're just like, just play it, and then the car bursts through.
Right.
The new Ford, the new Fords are in.
Movie.
The new Fords are in.
Laserdisc. Were those the giant CDs no one ever watched?
Yes. And then you had to flip it. You actually had to flip it.
Wow.
Like a regular LP.
The movie album.
Yeah.
They were expensive as hell, if I remember right. They're like massive.
It was. Definitely.
Oh, what a great film. What a great movie.
Yeah. And I also told people, I think we talked about this on another Carvers. I actually got it recently. I re-got it on like iTunes or something like that because I just wanted it. It's one of those kind of I just have to have it. And it was super cheap. So I actually went back. The scene where Carrie Fisher takes the bazooka or whatever it is and blows up the thing. If you look at it in digital, it's actually like 3/4 of it is a painting.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then they had that little part in the bottom, which is actually what it is, and then they actually did it that way. I was blown away. Like I'm just like, whoa, what is going on right now? This is a painting.
Yes.
So
were they called traveling mats back then, or a traveling mat painting, or?
Yeah, it was. You're right, and the same way they did like Star Wars and stuff like that with all the soldiers and stuff, like in the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
The first 3 years of the band I was in, for 22 years, we were basically a Blues Brothers cover band.
Oh, is that right?
Yep, well, they still play to this day. Oh, look, I'm wearing this shirt, Mojo Slim. And
wow,
and
what
we
did you play?
I was the drummer.
Excellent.
Yeah, we still have a full horn section, but we would do Hey Bartender, Flip Flop Fly, She Caught the Katy, like all those great Blues Brothers tunes. And that lead singer could wail on harmonica, so it was just like the perfect.
Wow, man. Yeah.
It was such a great thing in my 20s to do. That reminds me, great thing to do in my 40s. I should call them again.
Yeah, I mean, they were on Top 40 radio. The Blues Brothers had they were the movie, and they were recording artists, and they were television stars. I mean, it's like, wow.
It's a great album. It's great covers.
Yeah,
great
it really is a great album. Yeah.
To this, I might even throw it on later tonight. Now that we're talking about it, now it's
hey, why don't we all meet after the show and go to Bob's Country Bunker?
Yeah.
The chicken wire?
They play both kinds of music, country and western.
I gotta write
the check on both kinds.
I gotta write the check on the dashboard. It's kind of a tradition.
Glow box, the light from the glow box,
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. That's right.
So good. So let's check out what Paul's doing before we sign off. Actually, and I'll rip through some John stuff.
Oh man, that's really coming along. Yes.
We got to get the zombie eyes, right? They got to have the sunken. And I got to try to figure out how to make them the same size. This one seems a little bigger now that I'm looking at it. But yeah, he's gonna have I'll turn it a bit so the mouth is kind of cocked a little bit. Cool. Like, I mean, I want to make sure he's got a serious, anxious expression on that face.
Yeah, I mean, it's like chipping marble, isn't it, man? You can only take away, right? I mean, it's like you can't build up on it, right? You can't add on.
You can add on a bit. Not if you if you make a big mistake, you just start over. But super glue,
right? Yeah.
Like if you want to plan it out, like if you want to extend the nose out, or if you want to add horns or little accoutrements, you can use super glue. And it will work because, bonds wet surfaces. But you got to be real careful with it because it's dehydrating the whole time. So it's going to get stringy. As soon as the water's gone, it's not as pliable. So if you pull on it with a little rake tool, it's going to want to rip it all up. So it's a fun little dance we play.
It's cool, man. That's great. That's really, I can see where it's going. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Look at that. Wow.
Rolling.
Yeah, I started.
You're looky chilling there, man. Look at you. You're off and running.
I'm going to zombify it, which is the best part of doing a zombie. You can just make a face and then turn it into a zombie in some cases, unless you're doing like a big gaping mouth or something. But my whole thought process was, how do I make him anxious? I mean, like I want to. So I'm doing this kind of like he's going to have like a kind of screwed, like his forehead will be kind of pulled together. And maybe one eye, one brow a little higher than the other, and he's just gonna be like, "What the hell?" But then the nice part is because right now I got a big chunk for a nose, I got big lips, I can thin it out and make him dead. But right now I'm trying to just get the shape first. But
that's a nice looking pumpkin. That's a plump.
I see like one right down the center of the face that you're doing there, Matt.
Yeah,
you keep that as far as so you have a distance layer. I don't know.
Well, interestingly, this one has like some pretty deep grooves on it, and anything that sticks out the furthest will still have this. I think as I continue to go in, they'll probably disappear. But right now, it almost has that. It's like a good zombie cut in him, like somebody chopped him or something. But
do you keep it as your highest high point because you're taking away?
Yeah, exactly. So this is my highest point on the end of his nose, and then as I dig way down here in the corners, I can start feeling it get close to the center because that's our biggest worry, right? How close are we to like when we dig into breaking through, and we just don't want to break through. So as you get closer, we've learned to kind of like feel it up and just be like, okay, baby, how close are you? But we know that anything that sticks out the furthest, like these lips and stuff, and eventually a chin. Thankfully, this will get a little guideline right now because I know how far out it is. So.
Copy. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you. You know what I'd actually like to touch on a little bit because you are on the East Coast and it made me very happy to find out is your Makeup Academy. I want to learn more about this.
Oh yeah, man. The artist, the makeup artist workshop. Yeah, we just started throwing that together. It's a lot of fun, man. You know, it's like for the ground floor people, like where I started with Dick Smith, all the way through. You know, it's like we're trying to cover all the bases with it. You know, simple makeups and highlight and shadow and working with paint and a little bit of beauty makeup in there. Trying to create something for everybody.
Is there room for a semi-professional pumpkin carver in that?
Hell yeah, man. There's room for everybody here. All are welcome, man. Gets a little lonely out here on Eastern Long Island in this shop.
It's a beautiful part of the country. So you know what Harb's Farm is, right? Harb's Farm? Is that what it's called?
Come out, man. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to come out there and learn from the master.
Oh man, well, I'm just trying to hold my own here, but it's fun. You know, and the
only thing I want you to tell me is I don't have enough talent and I can't make.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
I just need a firecracker.
I would be lying. That would be a lie.
Oh,
a very big lie.
You haven't seen me work with clay. I'm good subtractive. When I add shit on, it's like, whoa, what the?
But I'm glad you brought that up because with this workshop, it's like with that always echoes back to me. It's like this is for people that are like maybe it's a little too and it's not. You know, we ground floor here. You know, Dick Smith didn't give up on me, so we want to pay that forward.
And you know what? Just talking to you for the short amount of time, you're obviously a great guy. Like you're an easy guy to talk to, and it puts you at ease. Like if somebody's unsure of themselves, you can just tell by the way you speak to people and the way you talk about other people and how they've progressed your career. It's a really cool experience. So
Paul,
it's not a far ride for me.
No, Paul, you're always welcome, guys. If you're ever in New York, please stop by. But you know, the one thing I want to say about that is that none of us would survive very long without the help of other people. I mean, that's the truth.
Yep.
I mean, man, how you know? It's just not possible.
Right.
You know,
good people.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a little backstory on the three of us. So this show started during the pandemic because we were all locked at home. Matt and I would go live on Instagram, just doodling like we do. And I happened to stumble into his feed on accident by pushing the wrong button. And he and I became quick friends. But I didn't meet Matt or Mick for the first year that we knew each other and did the show.
Wow.
So I flew out and took my family to the Grand Canyon. That's where I met Matt. And then I didn't meet Mick until this year at Monster Palooza in June.
Wow.
And the three of us have become great friends just through this format here. And all the people that watch the show, it's like we have this little family here. And welcome to the family, John. It's
Thanks, man. Thank you. It's great to be a part of it. Really great. And maybe there was no accident. Maybe that hitting that button was not an accident.
Yep.
I like to think it wasn't because Matt and I do love whiskey.
Divine intervention right there.
It was water when we started. It turned into whiskey. So
and think about it also, the pursuit of art all put us in the same room here.
Yeah. Yes, like-minded people. And you know what? I feel like 99.999% of us all have this great sense of humor where we kind of all get each other. You know, it's a quirky, cool niche that we do. You know, we're not accountants. We're being super creative and like trying the craziest, wackiest shit. So how could you not be impressed and admire everybody that does that?
The land of misfit toys, man. This is it.
Yeah. I'm a Polly in the box.
That's great. I'm so glad I got a chance to meet you guys. This has been a lot of fun, man.
It's been an honor having you on the show. I can't tell you what a huge fan I am of yours. Thank you so much.
Well, definitely check out John's work. This is his website right here. Anywhere else we can see your work, or is this primarily where people can go? Oh, also your makeup academy as well.
Yes.
Yeah, come to the makeup artist workshop, man. You know, and we want to do some Zoom meetings and get to meet. I've had some people wanting to do one-on-one classes, which we're going to start doing maybe in the near future. So just check me out at the makeup artist workshop. I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah. It's definitely been a pleasure. This is where you can find us.
Likewise.
We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. Guys, any last words before we sign off for this week?
Yes. Thanks again to this guy.
Yeah.
Thanks to you guys right there.
Man,
honored, but it's just hearing some of the stories and the people you've met and stuff like that. You're just honored to share a little bit of we'll call it internet space with you for a little while. But dude, just thank you for sharing.
Gentlemen, for making time for me tonight. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. We'd love to have you back.
We'll keep in touch, man. There's no way out for you guys now.
Well, I may have to do a segment at your place when I'm taking a class, and I'll get you to carve a pumpkin.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
No bullshit. Let's do it, man. I'm here.
We'll make it happen then.
All right.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, guys. All the best.
Well, Halloween's coming up. Get your GPCC entries in by this weekend. And so until next Thursday, we'll see you on another Carvers and Creators next week. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Announcement on Halloween. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Ooh, good night.